How should I talk to my parents? When you were young, you probably went to your parents first when something happened and asked for their advice on what to do. You would have talked to them about everything, even the small things, honestly expressing your thoughts and feelings and receiving their advice well. However, now you may think that your parents don't understand you. There may also be times when you don't want to share your innermost thoughts with your parents. Is it wrong not to speak your mind? If you're not trying to deceive, then it's not necessarily wrong. But one thing is certain, you need to have a conversation with your parents, and they need to hear what you have to say. Having a conversation with your parents is like driving a car in some ways. What do you do when you encounter an obstacle while driving? Do you stop driving? No, you will probably try to find another route. Now, let's consider the following two situations. First, consider an obstacle. What should you do if you talk, but your parents don't seem to listen? What can you do if there is an issue that must be discussed? There are at least 3 ways to deal with it. The first way is to raise your voice. You can tell your parents loudly, "It's important. Please listen to me." The second way is to say nothing. You may not talk about your problem at all. The third way is to wait for the right time to speak again. You can talk to your parents directly or write them a letter later about the problems you are experiencing. There is a teenager named Ria. What method do you think is best for Ria to choose? Let's think about the results of each method. Her father doesn't realize that his daughter is upset because he is lost in thought. Therefore, if Ria uses the first method, it may seem like she suddenly screams for no reason. This method will not help solve the problem, nor is it a way to show respect for her father. Therefore, this method is not helpful. The second method is the easiest, but it is not a wise action. If there is no discussion, the problem cannot be solved. To deal with her problems, Ria needs to talk to her father. Also, for her father to provide help, he needs to know what Ria is going through. Therefore, not speaking will not help at all. However, if Ria chooses the third option, she will try to tell the story later instead of giving up due to the obstacle. Also, writing a letter to her father can quickly improve her mood. This can also help her express what she wants to say more effectively. Father will better understand the daughter's perspective after reading the letter and realizing what she was trying to say. Therefore, the third option is beneficial to both Ria and her father. What other options might Ria have? And what might be the consequences of doing so? The second obstacle is when parents want to talk, but you don't feel like talking. Sarah, a teenager, has had a difficult day at school and gets really annoyed when her parents ask her questions as soon as she comes home. Sarah just wants to forget about what happened at school, but her parents ask her about it. Of course, Sarah's parents have good intentions when they ask these questions. But Sarah is too tired and stressed to talk about what happened. What can Sarah do in this situation? There are at least 3 ways to handle it, just like in the previous example. The first way is to refuse to talk. Sarah can say, "Please just leave me alone. I don't feel like talking right now." The second way is to talk even though she's feeling stressed. She might answer her parents' questions even though she doesn't want to. The third way is to talk about something else instead of talking about what happened at school. Sarah can suggest that they talk about school when she's feeling better. Then, she can show interest in her parents by asking, "How was your day? Was everything okay?" Which method do you think Sarah should choose? Let's consider the possible outcomes of each method. Sarah is stressed and doesn't feel like talking. If she chooses the first method, she'll continue to feel stressed and may even feel guilty for getting angry at her parents. Meanwhile, her parents may become upset with her for not talking and may even suspect that she's hiding something from them. This method won't help solve the problem. The second method is definitely better than the first. At least Sarah and her parents will be able to talk. However, since Sarah isn't speaking from her heart, the conversation may not be as honest and comfortable as they both would like. If Sarah chooses the third method, She won't have to talk about what happened at school right away, which will make her feel better. Her parents will be happy to see that Sarah is making an effort to talk to them, and they'll appreciate that she's interested in them too. This method allows both Sarah and her parents to consider each other's feelings, which is why it's the best option. How can you avoid misunderstandings? One thing to remember is that parents may interpret your words differently. For example, imagine if your parents asked you why you have a gloomy expression. If you simply answer, "I don't want to talk about it," then your parents may understand that as meaning, "Mom and Dad, I can't trust you. I want to talk to my friends." Therefore, it's important to choose your words carefully and speak respectfully. Please consider your parents as people from whom you can receive help, rather than someone to be guarded against. It may be easier to navigate difficult problems with their help. Do you find it difficult to talk to your parents about serious problems? It's possible that they also find it uncomfortable and challenging to discuss such topics with you. If it's hard to sit down and have a conversation with your parents about a particular issue, try going for a walk or a drive or going shopping together while having a conversation. I talk straight from my heart and speak sincerely. Job 33:3, The Holy Bible in the Language of Today, by William Beck. In the next section, we'll explore what to do if a teenager always argues with their parents during conversations.